I'm going to show you how to get high ticket dream clients through what I call T-shape workshops. This is a newer lead nurture strategy that I've been using pretty regularly for the last like 5 or 6 months. And I've given it to some of my paying clients to use. And it is working insanely well for getting way more inbound leads, booking more calls consistently, and getting way more of like what I would consider dream clients into our world and into our clients' businesses. It's so freaking amazing. So I wanted to do a YouTube video showing you how to apply this into your business as well. Now, I just ran a 90-minute workshop on this. So we do have a long version where we unpack it. I give away templates and cheat sheets and all of the stuff. It was a paid workshop. And so I'm going to give you the Cliff Notes version where I'm going to walk you through and show you step by step how to actually implement this. But if you want the cheat sheets and you want all of the templates and the scripts and all of the tools that I gave away in the workshop, just shoot me a DM on Facebook or Instagram and I'll be able to hook you up with that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive on in. Now, I call this the value first funnel system. And you're going to see why it's called the value first funnel system here in just a moment. Maybe pretty self explanatory, maybe not. Now, let me go into first the old way of how most of us got clients. We were, at least for me, when I first went online around September 2019, it was just kind of give free stuff away and then get people into your DMs, right? So you would like post free content, you would then DM those people, give them a free lead magnet, and then you would book them onto a call. You would sell them your expensive stuff, right? You'd sell them your high ticket coaching programs. The problem with this now, over the last couple of years, is information is super commoditized, so people just don't value it the same way they used to. And then B, it's leading to longer buying cycles. Like most prospects just live in the free zone for entirely too long, and they're not soaking in the value that your business can provide to them, right? And there's high pressure sales. People are coming from a low trust relationship. Maybe they consumed the PDF, maybe they've seen reels of yours, or they've seen some of your written posts on Facebook or whatever, right? And it's a higher pressure sales environment where you're having to overcome more objections because of the low trust. And then the truth is, very few leads will actually buy, and most leads end up, quote unquote, dying to you because most businesses don't actually have a great way of following up and tracking and nurturing leads, and B, just the average is like 3 to 5% of people are ready to buy now. In some cases, even lower. And so if you don't actually have a nurturing system, which I'm gonna walk you through right now, most die. And so the new way, or let's just say the better way to get clients, is you have free kind of short form content. This could be you posting reels. This could be written posts on Facebook. Like somebody asked me the other day, was like, he's like, I am posting long form content, Jason. We were talking about long form content. And I end up looking, I asked them more. I was like, hey, what do you mean by like, what are you doing with long form content? And he showed me as like he had a Facebook post. I'm like, dude, that's not long form content. Like long form content, at least in my opinion, is like videos over like videos or newsletters. Even you can do blogs that are like it takes somebody at least 10 minutes to consume. That, in my opinion, is long form content. So maybe the kids would argue that 5 minutes long form content, not in my world. Like 10 minutes is, and I'll explain why that's so important here in just a second. But what ends up happening when we get the short form on our Facebook or Instagram, long form with like YouTube or workshops or master classes, and then doing what I call these T-shaped workshops, which we're going to be going into right now. Now all of a sudden it's so much easier to get people to buy your expensive stuff, your high ticket programs or products, right? Why? Because trust is built faster because there's more options for people in your audience. There's more people will engage, and there's fewer people on the sidelines because you have more products and things for people, which I'll show you in a second. Prospects are staying in momentum because there's different paths for different people. So if somebody's not ready to buy your high ticket coaching program, but you have other options for people, they're going to be able to move. They're going to be able to go at their pace, right? And it's easier high ticket sales because prospects are pre-sold. And so the journey from non-client to client shouldn't just be about one big yes. It should be about a lot of smaller yeses that lead to that one big yes, right? So it could be like somebody following your social channels or joining your email list. Maybe they skim through your content. They start to consume your longer form content. Then they attend free workshops. Maybe they buy a low ticket workshop. which is primarily what we're doing. And then they might join a community in your Facebook, on your school. Maybe they join, uh, a paid community that you have, right? This approach allows you to stop, bro marketing and actually gets you to be a coach first. You get to step into being a coach first and providing the value. And so we're going to walk through this in a second, but something to highlight here before we dive into the actual value first funnel and showing you these T-shaped workshops is understanding this concept, right? In order for a lead to become a high ticket buyer, it takes time. I think we all can agree on that. But what most people believe is that it takes time in terms of days, weeks, months, and years. And I used to believe that too, but it's completely false. And I'll show you why. This is, like, the truth here is, like, people, it's not about the time they spend with you. It's about the amount of content. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm trying to, like, find the words here. It's about the amount of content that people consume from me. I've had people that come into my world that will hear a podcast of mine, and then they'll dive into maybe my YouTube channel, and they'll binge watch a bunch of my YouTubes, and then they'll shoot me a DM, and I will seemingly not have ever really seen this person before. And they'll be like, "Hey Jason, like, I'm ready to, like, get on a call with you, or can you tell me more about your organic growth system?" And I'm like, how do you know about that? I've never even seen you engage on anything. And they're and like, we just became friends yesterday on Facebook. What? And come to find out, they had, consumed, 45-minute podcast episode. They binge watched like 8 YouTube videos, and they trust me now. They've gone through my content, they've implemented some of what I've taught, and they trust me. And I've seen this with clients as well. Like, we've had clients that are in the weight loss space, or in, other parts of the coaching industry, and they are doing this same process where they're putting the long form content out there, and people are consuming their long form content, and then next thing you know, somebody's been in their world for just like a week, and they're ready to buy their high ticket stuff, because trust is built from the amount of content somebody consumes. And so if you're out there right now and you're just mainly relying on your, reels or written posts on Facebook or Instagram and stories and things like that, it's great. It's all part of a strategy, but people have to consume a lot of, like, 30-second reels or a lot of Facebook posts, which they're mainly skimming through anyway, in order to build that trust to want to buy high ticket from you. And so long form in general is important. So I always recommend anybody should be doing these. Like, right now I'm doing this YouTube video on a Loom. It's literally Loom, and I'm just recording it. Do I have fancier software? Yeah, I have OBS. We use Riverside for things, but a lot of times I do it on Loom because it's so low friction, and it's easy for me to create this content and put it out into the world. There's not a lot of friction and resistance for me to, like, do this right now. And it's super easy for me to share a Google Doc really, really quickly if I wanted to. So long form in general is important because of that reason, right? But there's something that we found is very predictable, and I call it T-shaped workshops. And so it's all part of this bigger value first funnel system, which, we'll go through today. And it's designed to attract and convert prospects into higher ticket coaching clients. That's the primary objective of it. And it centers around offering low cost, high value workshops that solve a very narrow problem. You're going to see where the T comes in a complete way, though, in a complete way. So if you've ever attended any of my workshops, you know that when you come on, you will get a result. Like, I had a woman hit me up yesterday, and she shared with me how, like, literally just from the content, or just from one of the workshops she attended, she applied the information. She's generated like over 75 inbound leads from the content that she's putting out there. And I can guarantee you right now, like, she's in the midst of, like, running a campaign that we taught on this workshop, a content campaign. I can almost guarantee you that she's going to make a crap load of sales based on what's happening. And so, like, you've got to solve problems with these workshops. That's the key. This is how trust is built, right? And this is why I love this, is because you can literally step into being a coach, to being the expert, to being the educator, to being the teacher, whatever you want to call it, and not have to, like, be so marketing or salesy. And it feels so much more authentic. It feels so much better, right? And this will have potential clients, the right clients pay attention, they see your value, they get results, and it allows them to easily trust you and to move into your high ticket coaching programs. And we typically run these workshops once per month to give yourself enough space before and afterwards to capitalize on the momentum that is created. And so here's how the T-shaped workshops look like, right? If you're listening to this and not watching, then just think about a T, right? On the very top of the T, the horizontal, you've got your IP, your intellectual property. This is going to be the wide range of your program. And when you do this effectively, how I'm going to explain it over the next 10, 15 minutes or so, it allows you to really open loop everything that you have. And I'll show you an example in just a moment. And then the vertical part of the T is the depth of the topic that you're going to go into. So this is the narrow problem that you're going to solve in depth. So powerful, right? And so here's how to actually make this work. Let's go through some steps. The first step is you got to craft a winning topic. The first thing that you have to do is come up with an idea, like a topic idea that touches on a pain point for your audience, and you want it to have some kind of mystery around it or be unique. Otherwise, like I'm telling you from experience, that you can have the greatest, you can have the greatest workshop topic in the freaking world, or masterclass or challenge, whatever you want to frame this as. You could be like, I could change somebody's life with this topic. But if there's a massive difference between the reality value and the perception value. So in reality, you're like, this crap is good. But if people don't perceive it as good, nobody's going to want it, right? Nobody's going to want to join it, even if it's free, even if you're not charging low ticket for it. And so choosing your topic, ideally you want to take something that you're already doing for clients, or maybe that you have done for clients previously, and package it to be sold or given freely, right? And so even this video, this is not a work, like I packaged and sold this workshop where people got the full 90 minutes, they got Q&A with me, they got templates, they got cheat sheets, they got like the script. So literally I gave them everything to like go in depth with this and to implement it instantly, right? And now I'm giving this freely, right? Obviously it doesn't come with everything, but you can literally take a topic that you're already teaching people and you could just package it and sell it to people. Like people are already paying you for it, so why not sell it and get people into your world, right? This ensures that your messaging is going to be speaking to the right people and you're not guessing. The biggest risk to the strategy not working is you trying to sell something that your audience, that your tribe, that your people don't want, right? And so this is kind of an example of the depth of my some of my IP. This is what we call our organic growth system, right? And this is the systematic way that we show coaches how to be able to get to consistent $20,000 to $30,000 per month, and in some cases, well beyond that. And so in this, if I taught a whole workshop on this, oh my God, that would be so overwhelming. There's so much IP and depth in this. Now I could go very lightly on these topics, and I have done that, but the problem that solves, so like say you're in like weight loss and you have like different phases or pillars, you can lightly touch on those topics, but all that's going to really happen is people get clear. It's really hard to go in depth on that big of a concept, like all these different phases, like fitness, nutrition, mindset. It's hard, right? Like, so people can get it and they can get clarity, but unless you zero in on something specific, it's tough, right? And so if you look at mine as an example and then think through yours, like we have Magic Messaging Makeover. Within that, there's so much that like within messaging, right? There's the subconscious beliefs. There's just so much, right? I've like frameworks within this major framework. Our conversion content cadence, our cash conversion systems. These are all pillars within our brand. And within them, there's so many different topics, right? So even this video that I'm sharing now, the Value First Funnel System, this is a framework within our cash conversion system. So this is me taking a topic within a bigger scope and breaking it down into a video or into in this case, it was a full workshop. Does that make sense? And so that's the concept. But when I'm doing this, like my audience knows this is like, we have a much fuller system. And so it naturally opens a loop. So people know that like there's a lot more for them to learn from you. And this gets people to want to hire you because they're like, well, crap, I really, I really like the topic that you just taught me, and it got me results. And so if this got me results, and I like your coaching style, I like the way you teach, then I'm gonna definitely love to get help with the rest of this. You see what I'm saying? So it's a very easy, natural progression that's very authentic. And so, how to find a compelling topic? I call it magic messaging, right? We want to like look at what the common challenges or complaints are, the consistent questions, what topics might be overlooked or unclear to people, what obstacles are in the way of them transforming or getting results, right? You can even look at maybe what's important, what's trendy, what's a hot topic, and ideally just list all of the problems that your ideal clients need to solve or steps they need to take. As simple as that. And then once you know that, you want to test angles. So before I come up with anything for a workshop, I want to see if it resonates with people. And so what you could do is you can create polls if you have a Facebook group, or um, you could put it, polls in your stories, right? You can use hand raiser posts, like pretty much call to action driven posts on Facebook or on Instagram. And you could just literally just reach out to your warm audience and you can ask them, right? And I have this market research DM script that we give to our students that like shows them just a simple script they can use to ask people. But I always want to test. So in this example here, I said just shot a 44-minute crash course with the exact content templates and scripts on how to sign 5 to 15 new clients in 21 days. Do you want it? I just wanted to see if there was interest in this because I have it available. And so we had like 153 people said yes. One from my fitness business was, who hasn't yet seen my healthy snack guide that will help you avoid stress eating and late night snacking? If you want me to send it to you, drop a me below. We had 378 comments, right? So I knew that there was going to be some interest there. Make sense? Then once I know that there's interest, because I tested the angle, I then decide on a really good hook for it, right? Because if your content or your promotions that you're trying to like get people into, they fall flat, it's usually because the hook was just not good. It wasn't perceived as valuable and it didn't land with people. And so a good hook needs to be clear, simple, and deliver directly to the person that you want to help, the pain that they're in, the dream outcome or desire they want, and your mechanism or model, if you will. Right? So if you look back here, content templates and scripts was my mechanism or model. 5 to 15 clients was the kind of dream outcome. And it didn't really include a pain point. You could, right? So you don't have to use all of these, but you want to make sure you have some included. And then some examples of like hooks are like, new lead nurture strategy to convert dream clients without DMing or sales calls was one that we've used. An exact nutrition plan to lose 33 pounds of belly fat in 92 days is one that I've used. Stubborn fat cheat sheet you can use to shed 20 pounds of belly fat. So you want to just come up with a really good hook. That's what's going to matter. And then you finally can come up with the name. You want the name to be something really clear and that is attractive to people, right? So in this case, it was the value first funnel system, how to attract high paying clients with T-shaped workshops. There was intrigue and people liked it, right? It was speaking to my audience. So once you come up with a winning topic and a nice hook for it, you then want to plan your promotional strategy. And so things to include are an opt-in page, a landing page, a thank you page, a replay page. And you could simply use Google Docs for this or Notion Doc. I'll show you some examples in a minute. I've literally just made a Stripe payment link and created this very simple Google Docs. You don't even need to get fancy if you don't want to. However, if you're looking for automation, so all of our stuff I have automated at this point. So when somebody opts in, they get all of the emails, all the reminders, all the templates. It's all automated, so we don't have to do it manually. You'll definitely need some kind of software, right? But you don't need it. So if you're just starting out, you could just simply use Google Docs or Notion. But if you want the automated emails, right, that's part of things that you'll need to create. There's a promo post, right? And I'll show you an example. And then you want your content plan, right? Your socials and your emails. Okay. Really, really simple. But first, don't make this common mistake. Most people just try to do a one-off promotion or a post for all sorts of events or offers. Like maybe they create an event in a Facebook group, or they post, hey, I'm going live tomorrow. Or they do like a, two-step call to action driven post. Who would be interested in this? And they just do like one or two posts. And usually they're pretty ineffective because there's no context, there's no buy-in, you're not able to build momentum. And so I typically like to give it about 6 to 7 days to promote at the very, very least, right? And then, so the funnel flow, we're not going to really dive too much into this. This is a little bit more advanced, but I just want to show you here, like there is, you could just put it on a simple Google Doc as I explained. This is an example of a Google Doc I've created. And you can put like a Stripe or payment link down below. And then this is an example of a landing page, right? Pretty simple. Now, let's go ahead and go into step number 3. Oh, actually, sorry. Part B, content plan. So in the promotional strategy, you got your content plan. Don't overthink this. Like, you have something to sell, so just tell people about it, why they should care, what the bigger question they have to answer. Like, you want to think, what's in it for me? And a framework that I learned from, I think it was Hormozy or somebody years ago, was whisper, tease, shout, right? So 7 days out, you want to whisper. So this is where you would put some kind of poll or question up in your stories. That's like you whispering. You could do a hand raiser of like, hey, I'm thinking about hosting a workshop on XYZ to help with XYZ outcome. Who would be interested, right? Just as I was explaining, you're testing it, you're whispering it. Then 3 to 5 days out, I like to tease. Typically, I'll do 2 to 3 promotional posts. It'll just be some helpful content with a call to action, driving them to the workshop. And then 1 to 2 days out, I'll shout. This might be some FOMO post, like fear of missing out, right? Or of like, hey, last call, we're going to be running this workshop on to help this avatar with XYZ thing, blah, 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 right? So really, really key. And again, if you want to get, like, I actually have templates for these, full templates on these. Welcome to get them. To shoot me a message and I can, explain how to get them. And then you want to leverage your network. So any partnerships that you have, reach out to people to connect and try to borrow their audience. Referrals, you can ask your clients, or after people sign up, give them a script and a post for them to invite their friends, and repurpose your content to your email list. It's really, really important. And then an angle for content creation, just get specific on the pains, desires, and what problems this workshop will solve for them. You want to sell the big idea behind it, like the new belief, a unique mechanism, maybe a new identity they will have once they go through your workshop. You want to like address common mistakes in your content creation that you're making for this to promote this event. What mistakes are people making when trying to implement, and what goes wrong? Show social proof of other people using this strategy and the results that it has produced for them. Common objections as to why why people wouldn't want to come to this workshop, and try to use objection handlers within your content to break them out, right? And so here's a couple different examples of posts that I've done. And if you're listening to this on my podcast and you want to come check these out visually, you can come on over to my YouTube channel and see them. But boom, right? This is just an example of a post, a long form post I made. And these are this is an example of a FOMO post right here. And then this is an example of what I would call a promo post, getting people to engage. So step number 3 is you want to craft your workshop now. So we've covered crafting a winning topic, planning your promo and your content plan. Now we want to craft your workshop outline. So the framework I learned years ago was what, why, how, now. What, why, how, now. And so the what is your hook. It's how you're, welcoming them. Who is it for? Are you demonstrating and, showing credibility? The why is going to be, why is this important? So this is typically where I do a quick call to action. Maybe I'll tell a story, some kind of story that's going to like bridge the gap to what I'm teaching. I'm going to speak to the problems, the frustrations, to the wants, right? I'm going to start to work on shifting people's beliefs so they can get more out of the workshop, right? So, because if somebody believes something to be true, that's a false belief and that's not serving them, it's going to be harder for them to implement what you're trying to teach them. And so we got to like essentially attack in a nice way their false beliefs. And usually if you do this through storytelling, you can get them to believe what you believe to be true, the belief that you need them to believe to implement what you're about to tell them. And that's what I like to do in the beginning. And then the how is going to be like your big insight, your, the 3 keys, 5 pillars, 4 steps. It's how do you implement this? And then the now is going to be your like recap, the application, right? Your call to action, what you want people to do now. See what I'm saying? And here's a visual of what I call the C5 framework, which is our OG, original gangsta. This is the original framework they came out with years ago that took the industry by storm, and a lot of people use this framework in their businesses today. Thousands and thousands of them. I'm so freaking grateful. But this is the framework that we invented that a lot of people use, and it's Ninja. And so how to run the live workshop? Pretty simple. You prepare the slides, right, first, or you could put it on a doc just like I have. You welcome everybody at the beginning, then you give them their next step, right? Then you go through the formula I just said, right? Then you teach for 30 to 60 minutes. You give them a next step. You have Q&A. Then you give them a next step again, and then you send recording. Typically, I give people an option to book a call, or we'll just sell a program right from there. So those are the 2 things that I usually do for our next call, or our next thing for them, right? Bum bum bum. And then the 4th thing here is going to be follow-up and performance debrief. This is where I'm going to probably lose half of y'all right now, but this is a very important part. Fortune's in the follow-up, they say. Whether I that's probably true. But you want to send an email with the recording, and you want to DM all people that registered for your event or that were intrigued about your event, so you can follow up, make sure they see the workshop, and kind of give them next steps, whether it's booking a call with you or buying into your program. And then I like to debrief. I like to look at things like, all right, how much cash did we collect? How much revenue did we generate? How many clients did we sign? Or the total call bookings? How many calls were offered? If that was the case, how many comments and people like were intrigued in the event? How many people showed up live to the event? How many people registered? And really like starting to debrief so you can know what to do better the next time, right? And then the 5th thing is you want to leverage the content. So I like to make these things evergreen, and so it can be put up on our we have like a little store where we'll have our past workshops where people can go buy like a $97 workshop or whatever, right? So we have a store, and then we also use this for like postscripts, PSs in our emails. So if somebody's not ready to join your high ticket program, but they're like, I will buy a $97 workshop from you, they have that opportunity to do so, right? And if you're in a month where you just don't have the energy to do something new, you could just literally resell something old just to give people an opportunity to step into your world, right? You can also bundle this with future workshops or when you're doing promotions for your program, and this could be a nice little bonus for you as well, right? So your turn to take action. What you could do now is, based on what you just learned in this video, start to think about what would be a winning topic that you can run with. And then secondly, come up with a promotional plan. Do you have a software where you're going to create a landing page, a thank you page, and you can funnel hack me, if you will. Go to my funnels and find them and see them. I'll link one of them in the description below so you can kind of get an idea of how I build funnels. Or are you just going to keep it simple and you're going to do it on a Google Doc and and put a Stripe link, right? So keep it really simple. And then create the content plan for it, right? 5 to 7 days out, at least, you want to have some kind of trigger post, promotional post, right? So you can start to whisper and really test the angles. And then 3 to 5 days out, you want to make sure that you have 2 to 3 good promotional posts. And these don't have to be blatant promotions. They could be value with a call to action being like, next step for somebody to go to your workshop. And then you want to build out your presentation so you can deliver the workshop. And then you want to follow up and debrief, right? And then you can leverage the content for evergreen. So it's your turn to do it. If you want to see a little bit of a framework of what you can utilize to build out, right? You can put in any results that you want, and then craft this is the milestones, right? So craft your winning topic, finish your promotional strategy, start your promotion, give yourself deadlines too. Finish the outline, complete your presentation slides, host the live event or the workshop, close a certain amount of clients that you want to close, create a replay, and complete your performance debrief, right? And that is it, my friend. And so If you have any questions, or if you want to see the templates, or the, I have all of it. We have all the SOPs, all the templates for the content and the promotion. We have the templates for the landing pages, for the email automation, literally everything, because we've done this now for quite a while. So I can just give it over to you if you would like it. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram and just reference that you watched this video and that you're looking for like the templates and things like that. And I'm happy to be able to give you some information on how you can get those. So but remember this, the value first funnel feels so good because you don't have to go out there and, you know, do the bro marketer thing and like put on that like, salesperson's hat. You could just be the coach. You could be the educator. You could be the teacher, and you could show up naturally and just coach people, just teach people. And it feels so good to do. And it's just when you could start to solve problems, that's where the value first comes in. You solve people's problems with these workshops and other long form content. All of a sudden, trust is built with people. And if people vibe with you, they're going to want to continue to the next step with you. And that would be into your coaching program. So cool, man. I hope you found this amazingly helpful. And if you did, make sure to click subscribe and leave a comment letting me know what you thought. All right. As always, remember your message matters now more than it ever has before. Don't be afraid to speak it. Be seen, be heard, and be impactful.